further, obviously coming to an end, is the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Filmation style figures. This is the last series of these as well from Super 7. So we've got Roboto, Prince Adam, Modulok, Shadow Weaver, Stratos and Katrina. So this is also bittersweet as well, because again I've really enjoyed the Filmation style figures. As part of the classics, we've got a really good range of the Filmation style characters, and this is potentially the last one we're getting. We're going into a whole new ball game coming this year. New figures based on the old style but with a little bit more articulation, so it's going to be interesting, but it's going to be sad at the same time to say goodbye to the classics, because we've all become so used to the designs over the years. So let's open these up and take one final look at the Filmation Masters of the Universe. G'day everyone, so we have them out of the box. These are the Filmation series, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So they each come in a display box. So each of them comes with the Greyskull slip cover on. And if we remove that, we'll see we've got Prince Adam there. So each of the boxes is sort of made out like Greyskull. There's a bit of spots for light to come in, but you can have them on display in there. But I'm an out-of-the-box collector. And then there's a Filmation picture on the back and a little bit of a bio about each character. So we have Prince Adam, we have Stratos, we have Katrina, we have Shadow Weaver, we have Roboto, and we have Cartoon or Filmation Modulok. So let's open these up and take a look at them out of their packaging. Okay, so here we have the Filmation series, the last Filmation series out of the box. So we have Katrina. She comes with a sort of a loose whip, and then also the handle of the whip with the fire attached to it. And I believe that can go into the holster on her leg. She has a tail as well, but we'll have a closer look at her in a sec. So we've got Modulok out of the box with both heads on, although technically in the old cartoon I think he only had the head on the right, the one with the cat eyes, but I'll have a play around with that in a second. And he's got a couple of different attachments, a couple of different hands, a mallet, etc. Then we have Roboto. Now I've got him holding his actual gun attachment, but he has the clamp or hook hand, and he's more sort of Filmation style. As I said, all of the figures are more Filmation style, so they're sort of a flat colours, not as much detail, but they do harken back to the cartoon. Shadow Weaver is next, and she looks amazing. And again, Shadow Weaver being one of the series that, you know, before I got involved in collecting these, it's a difficult one to pay for, and I just can't bring myself to buy the classic Shadow Weaver. Then we have Stratos at the back there, and he comes with an additional jetpack. So he's got one that's more in the toy style, but still in a very basic Filmation style, and then one that's more sort of screen accurate. And then finally we have Prince Adam, and he comes with some interesting things. He comes with obviously the big sort of shield that was seen in the cartoon. He comes with his sword. He comes with an alternate head which has a bit of a sort of a smirk to it. He comes with, that's the hand that came in with him, but he does actually have the hand that allows him to hold the sword up. And then he has this sword, which is a separate sword, which sort of clicks into the lightning effect piece, so he can actually recreate the by the power of Greyskull scene. So that's, I think, a really good inclusion. So overall, those are the figures. Out of the box, I can't see any major issues with them, but let's have a quick closer look at each one of them. So, just turning the booth lights off for a second while I was getting ready for the next part of the video, I noticed that this effect seems to glow, so I'm just sort of giving it some light right now, and then I'll turn the power off and we'll see if we can get a very brief glow on camera. I know it's always hard to get, but yeah, that's just an added bonus. I didn't actually realise that was glow-in-the-dark material. So here we go, we'll turn the lights off now and see whether or not it shows up on video. So you can see a little bit of the glow effect there. Obviously it's more noticeable in a really dark room, but yeah, that's an added bonus that I wasn't aware of. Here is Katrina. So as I said, she has this flame effect that can attach on. You can just remove that, so you can just have the holstered little claw weapon, and then this is obviously the extended version. So basically it's a very soft, pliable material. It does have a little claw on the end that you can use as a whip. So she's in the very basic colours, but again, the paint seems to be really good. She's got the tail happening. The tail is actually really good to balance her out. The only sort of, there's a little broken piece on the back of here. It's like it's either come unglued or it's missing a piece of brown, but it's not noticeable from the front view. But yeah, like a very basic figure, but she stands well. She's got some, she can do some good poses. I do like the flexibility of this whip, and then you can also have her with the flaming option as well. So that is Katrina. Modulok with that neck attachment, which I'm not a big fan of. I'll show you without that in a second. So he does have the standard sort of filmation style. He does have the 3 feet, so he's got the 3 articulated legs. So obviously the back leg is more of a ball joint there. It's more just to sort of prop him up at the back compared to the front 2 legs. He has the open sort of claw hands there. He comes with some spare hands as well. And then he also comes with these parts which I think you can swap out. So instead of a fist, he actually has a big giant mallet. But let's pull his head off and have a look at him with just a single head. Okay, so yes, I'm liking that look much better. I do like it to be like the traditional one. The neck stretching sort of thing doesn't look that crash hot. I can't remember if he actually did have the 2 heads in the cartoon. I know he did build another head to go on himself, but I do like that look where he's holding his second head, just more reminiscent of the Filmation cartoon. So now we might just try swapping out, say, one of these bigger items, so maybe the mallet, onto his hand just to see what that looks like. So there he is with the mallet attachment. So it's very easy to put in. It doesn't have any rotation, it can just turn around obviously for posing. But the hands come out very easily. That's the hand that I've taken out. They really just pop in. They don't have too much articulation or anything like that, but they are very sharp. Like all of the sort of the spiky bits on him and the claws are very sharp, very solid. Like I've caught myself on his wrist gauntlets a couple of times. But yeah, I think that's probably the look that I'm going to go for. He's about to give himself maybe a little bit of a headache, so yeah. Arigato, Mr. Roboto. So this is Roboto from the Filmation series. So he's got the very basic sort of see-through design with the gears. None of those gears move in there. He has the more Filmation style sort of clamp claw. He also comes with the very flat grey axe or vibro axe, and also his machine gun, which can be placed on his hand, and he's in the very basic colours. But yeah, overall I think he looks really good. He doesn't have any articulation in the head, so his jaw doesn't open like the old comic character. But yeah, I think this certainly catches the Filmation vibe, and just those flat greys and flat colours. I really dig it. So it doesn't need to be super detailed. Like I think they achieve just as much with this lack of detail that they do with the amazing amount of detail, say, in the William Stout collection. So I think they're each representative of a different style of He-Man, and this is a really good representation of Roboto from the Filmation series. Here we have everyone's favourite Birdman, other than maybe Harvey Birdman or Birdman from Rick and Morty. We have Stratos, the only guy that has his own brand of cologne perfume for men. So Stratos, yeah, is in his traditional animation style colours. He has a very bright, bold, one-piece colour sort of staff of Avion. He has, as I said, the secondary backpack. He does have, like, obviously the feathers happening. He has the very basic sword, and then he has like a standard backpack there. So again, done in that Filmation style, very basic, but I do love him. I think there's just something about those goggles. I don't know, they remind me of Plastic Man, but then the face and the lip reminds me of a Muppet, like, and then the beard, I think the Amish beard with no moustache. It's just, it's a look that not many people could pull off, and poor old Stratos doesn't. Now we have Shadow Weaver. So as I said, a hard one to get in the classics line, so it is good to have her finally, even if this is in the Filmation style. She comes with a little display base you can see down there, so she does float above the ground. She's limited in her posing because of her body, but the back sort of section remains in place and the arms can be moved, so it does give her the effect of she has the hood and the cloak behind her, and she can hold one of numerous staffs and special effects that come with her, but I think this is how I'll be posing her. And as I said, that you can see that there's a separate rubber piece there, so you can move the arms, and the arms are, or the hands seem more detailed probably than they were in the Filmation cartoon. And then she has the hood at the back. So obviously with the resurgence of She-Ra, obviously their Shadow Weaver in the new series is a lot different to the old one, but I'm old school. I love the Filmation style for She-Ra and from He-Man. All of the Horde come out really well in this old style. Like, she'll go really great with Grislaw and Hordak. So that is Shadow Weaver. Last but no means least is obviously Prince Adam in transformation. Well, with the transformation effect at least. And I'm so glad that they've included the hand that is actually articulated so he can hold the sword aloft. And then there is, as I said, a spare head where he's got a little bit of a smirk. So both of these faces are, I think, different to the Prince Adam that came in the Comic-Con exclusive. And then that's the standard wrist, so that has the normal movement. And then he does come with both the sword with the attachment that glows in the dark for the effect, and then separately another sword that can be, holstered on his back. Well, actually, no, it can't be holstered on his back because I don't think he has a holster, but it can just be a sword that you use. It's a slightly smaller sword. This is the more longer style sword here. And then also in that flat grey, there is the prototype shield, which I think he used in one episode of the cartoon. But obviously that's very reminiscent of the shield that came with the original He-Man, just without the red colouring. And so that is Prince Adam. But yeah, Prince Adam looks really good. I think this is pretty much the same sculpt. The colours might be slightly different to the Hey Yeah or the What's Going On Prince Adam. But yeah, no, I think it comes out really well. The vest looks good. He just looks like the cartoon. And again, I really appreciate in that final figure being able to sort of have him in the pose where he is actually sort of mid-transformation. By the power of Greyskull, I have the power. And then, yeah, as I said, we've got the added effect of the glow effect. And there we have it. So there we have the full and potentially final wave of Filmation style characters. I'm sure there's lots of characters that people wanted to get, but again, I'm a fan of the main characters, so I think if we've got the majority of the main characters in this style, I think that's Super 7 and Mattel have achieved their job. It is a shame that we probably won't get these anymore, although there's nothing to say that the new style of figures they couldn't do in Filmation colours, or with a very plain or matte sort of finish on them to have a very Filmation style. But overall then, rating these figures from worst to best, and again, I say worst but least favourite, because ultimately I can't find any real flaws with any of these figures. I think it's another solid output from Super 7. I would say probably just Katrina, because I'm just not invested in the character as much. Probably then Roboto, because I never really had him as a standard figure, so he wasn't high on my list. I remember him from the comics and things like that, but he wasn't someone that I sort of wanted. I think Stratos would probably be my third or least favourite. Again, we did have him as a figure, or I think my brother did. He wasn't my cup of tea, but he is a good character. And as I said, there's just something about that quirky sort of facial design. And then Shadow Weaver would be my next favourite. I think she looks really good sort of representation of what she looks like in the TV show. And then it's a real toss-up. I think Prince Adam with that effect is great, but I'm going to relegate him to my second most favourite figure in this, and I think old Modulok wins it. I think just that face is just perfect. The second face, while it doesn't look great when it's on the neck, I love the attachments. I love the fact that he can turn his hand into a giant mallet. I love the 3 feet. He's just the perfect accompaniment to like Mantenna and the other Horde, and in that Filmation style he's just, you know, spot on. So yes, I think he will be displayed with just the single head, but those are my choices. And again, it is sort of a happy but sad day, because this is potentially the last of the classic style, Filmation style figures that we may get for Masters of the Universe. So here's to the future. Here's to new sets, new characters, new designs, and, you know, all of the other things that come with it, new flaws, new things for us to be angry about, new things for us to be happy about. But here's to collecting Masters of the Universe.